Hello, everybody.
Okay, the court is on the record in City of Conneaut versus Preston Johnson, 21 CRB 359, and State of Ohio versus Preston L. Johnson, 21 TRB 756. In the 21 CRB 359 case, Mr. Johnson was convicted of aggravated disorderly conduct, the 4th degree misdemeanor, and resisting arrest, a 2nd degree misdemeanor, as well as criminal damaging, a 2nd degree misdemeanor. All of those, he was convicted on December 20th of 2021 and sentenced on that same day. As part of his sentence, Mr. Johnson was placed on supervised probation for 18 months with several conditions. In that case, 207 days of jail were suspended. In 21 TRD 756, Mr. Johnson was convicted of driving under suspension, a 1st degree misdemeanor, on January 11th of 2022. He was placed on supervised probation for 2 years and had 180 days of jail suspended. In both of these cases, probation violation complaints were filed against Mr. Johnson on, one on April 26th, the other one on April 27th of 2023. The allegations in the 21 CRB 359 case are that the defendant failed to contact the probation department in March or April of 2023, failed to abstain from illegal substances on or around April 26, 2023. And in the TRD case, the allegations are that he failed to become a valid licensed driver, failed to contact probation in March or April 2023, failed to abstain from illegal substances on or around April 26, 2023. Apparently on April 26, 2023, something transpired. I'm not quite sure what transpired because the file doesn't indicate what transpired, but something happened on April 26, 2023 where the defendant was given notice to appear for a hearing on a preliminary revocation hearing on May 11th of 2023. The defendant failed to appear for that preliminary revocation hearing on May 11th, and as a result, the court issued a warrant for his arrest. That warrant has remained outstanding until Mr. Johnson's arrest. I believe he was arrested yesterday. When was he arrested?
I believe it was yesterday.
Yesterday, May 29th, 2025, and he is appearing at this. We are going to conduct a preliminary revocation hearing on both probation violation complaints in these cases. Mr. Johnson is appearing at this hearing by way of video from the Conneaut City Jail. He is without counsel at this time. Present in the courtroom and appearing at table 2 on the video is probation officer Sean Benoit. Mr. Johnson, probation violation complaints were filed against you on April 26th and April 27th of 2023 in these cases. I believe copies had been previously provided to you, but I believe the probation officer has given you copies of those complaints today. Have you received those copies?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to read you your rights, so please pay attention to the rights I'm about to read to you. You do have a right to be informed of and to understand the nature and the elements of the charges or complaints filed against you. You also have a right to know the potential penalties that could be imposed. If you are found to have violated your probation in 21 CRB 359, now this is the criminal case where you were convicted of aggravated disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and criminal damaging, the court could impose up to 207 days in jail. I could extend your probation from what was originally set from 18 months I could extend it to 5 years, so I could add another 3.5 years onto your probation in addition to any tolling that has taken place as a result of any alleged failure to be in contact with the probation department. And or I could impose more restrictive community control sanctions, more restrictive than what I've already done. So do you understand the consequences you face if found to have violated your probation in that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the traffic case, 21 TRD 756, if you are found to have violated your probation, you do face up to 180 days in jail. That would be consecutive or in addition to the 207 days that could be imposed in the other case. I could extend your probation from what was originally set at 2 years up to a maximum 5 years, plus any tolling that has taken place as a result of any alleged failure to report to probation, and or I could impose more restrictive community control sanctions, more restrictive than what I've already done. You understand the consequences you face in that case?
Yep.
Sorry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You have a right to remain silent and not to say anything during this hearing that might incriminate yourself. Any statement you make could be used against you. You also have a right to a final revocation hearing. You have a right to another hearing, which is what we call a final revocation hearing. At that hearing, you would have a right to cross-examine witnesses and to confront evidence presented against you. You would have a right to use the court process to secure the attendance of any witness who you would want to testify on your behalf. At that hearing, you would have a right to be proven guilty by a preponderance of the evidence, as well as a right not to testify. You also have a right to have an attorney represent you in these cases. I do see in the criminal case you were formally represented by the public defender. If you do qualify, the court would appoint the public defender's office to represent you in these cases. But if you do have a right to retain the services of your own attorney or to consult with your own attorney, as well as have a right to a continuance of this initial appearance hearing in order to retain at your own expense your own attorney or to consult with your own lawyer. If you do qualify for court-appointed counsel, there may involve a $25 application fee and a $50 cost reimbursement assessment that apply. You also have a right to appeal any conviction or sentence. In other words, if you're convicted of violating your probation in either of these cases, you do have a right to appeal the conviction or any sentence that I impose. And you would be entitled to a court-appointed attorney in the Court of Appeals if you receive a jail sentence and cannot afford a lawyer. Now, if you plead not guilty to either or both of these probation violation complaints today, you do have, or I will set your case for a final revocation hearing in the near future, and I will set a bond. A bond is set by the court to ensure your appearance at all future proceedings as well as to protect public safety. And today you have the right to a reasonable bond. Okay, Mr. Johnson, you have 2 plea options with respect to each of these complaints. You can either plead guilty or not guilty. If you plead guilty, that is a complete admission by you to the complaint filed against you. If you plead guilty, the court will find you guilty, and then I will impose sentence. The second option is you can plead not guilty. If you plead not guilty, that is a denial by you to the complaint filed. And as I said earlier, if you plead not guilty, I'll set your case for a final revocation hearing in the near future, and I will set a bond. So, Mr. Johnson, do you understand all of the rights and plea options I just explained to you?
Your Honor, I do.
Okay. Officer, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. State your name, your position, and what the basis for these complaints are.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Sean Benoit, City of Conneaut, a probation officer. Essentially, the basis of the complaint is the same for both cases. The only difference is in 756, he failed to become a valid licensed driver. He failed to report in for probation appointments in April and March of 2023. He failed to abstain from illegal drugs on or about April 26th of 2023, where the defendant failed that drug screen for PCP, methadone, K2, kratom, ecstasy, amphetamine, methamphetamine, and THC, Your Honor.
Okay. Has he had any contact with probation since March of 2023?
No, Your Honor, there have been 744 days of absconded days added to total to his account here.
Okay, I do find, based on the testimony, that probable cause exists for the filing of the probation violation complaints against Mr. Johnson. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to now ask you for pleas. First off, to the probation violation complaint filed against you in 21 CRB 359. This is the criminal case. How do you plead to that complaint?
Plead guilty, Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Plead guilty, Your Honor.
Guilty, okay. And to the probation violation complaint filed against you in the traffic case, 21 TRD 756, how do you plead?
Guilty.
You understand, Mr. Johnson, by pleading guilty to these complaints, that you are waiving your right to a final revocation hearing, which means you'd be waiving your right to cross-examine witnesses and to confront evidence presented against you. You'd be waiving your right to testify or not to testify without any negative connotation. You'd be waiving your right to subpoena witnesses. You'd be waiving your right to be proven guilty by a preponderance of the evidence. All of those are hearing rights you would be waiving by pleading guilty to these complaints. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes, Your Honor. So,
Also, by pleading guilty to these complaints, you would be waiving your right to an attorney. You do have a right to have an attorney represent and advise you in these cases. You may even qualify for court-appointed counsel, I'm not sure. But by pleading guilty to these complaints, you would be waiving your right to an attorney. Is that what you wish to do?
yes, Your Honor, I do.
Are you currently under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or prescription medications that might affect your thinking?
No, I'm not.
Are you currently on probation, parole, community control, or post-release control with any court?
No, Your Honor.
Any other court, I should say,
No.
other than Conneaut. Has anyone made any promises to you about what your sentence will be in order to induce you to plead guilty to these complaints today?
No, Your Honor.
And are you thinking clearly and do you understand everything that's happening?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the the corrections officer, to provide you 2 Form 5s. We are not scratching off any paragraphs. These are the same forms. He's giving you 2 forms because we have 2 cases. Now, Mr. Johnson, for the record, do you read and write English?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so take a few minutes, read those documents. If you have any questions about them, please feel free to ask me. And if you find that they're acceptable, you can sign in date at the bottom.
Okay.
Both forms are signed, Your Honor.
Okay, and officer, if you could sign as witness as well, that'd be great.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, the court does find that the defendant has executed in open court the written waivers of hearing on probation violation matters. I do find that the defendant's pleas of guilty or complete admissions to the probation violation complaints filed against him on April 26 and April 27, 2023 in these cases to be knowing, voluntary, and intelligent. The court will accept the guilty pleas, and I will therefore find him guilty of violating his probation in these cases. Okay, Mr. Johnson, I am now going to proceed to sentencing, now that you've been adjudicated having violated your probation. Before I impose sentence in these cases, is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to say that over these last several months that since I violated and the warrants have been placed out for my arrest, I have been working very hard to make my life better so that when the time comes, I can show the court that I had done something for myself. This last semester, this spring, I went to Kent State University and I passed this semester. And over the summer, my fiance, who I'm living with, and my kids, she was the only one with an income, and she was paying the bills while I was going to college. And I just got a job at Subway to help her pay the bills. Unfortunately, I did relapse on substances during these last couple weeks. And because of God's them, I was arrested. These warrants were taken care of. Whatever sentence you do impose, I ask you to have mercy. My children do need me very much, and just want to be there for them as soon as possible. And I want to seek the treatment that I do need so that I can be there for them. And that is all, Your Honor.
Okay. So, have you been in treatment at all for substance abuse or mental health purposes?
Yes, Your Honor. I will go to Signature Health for mental health services. I placed myself in rehab right after I had relapsed 2 weeks ago. I was down in Square One, and I stayed there for a week.
You were down. Hold on. You were down where?
Square One in the harbor.
You were at Square One.
Their detox center.
When were you there?
2 weeks ago. It was right after my relapse.
So you detoxed there and then you left?
Yes. And then I went to detox and then I left because my fiance wanted me to come home. She was just, she missed me, I guess, and I told her it was important. She said, "Are you going to stay the 30 days?" And I wanted to. It's no excuse. I probably should have stayed, but they gave me the option just to stay or to go home on the 7th day. And I went home, and there was using at the house. Somebody was there who used, but didn't take very long for I relapsed again. I wish I would have stayed for the 30 days of treatment at the residential.
Okay, so you said you were going to college?
Yes, sir.
So you were, I think based on what I think I heard you say, that you essentially were sober up until a short time ago while you were studying in college.
Yes, I was.
Okay, so you were sober for the entire time you absconded from probation?
Yeah, almost the entire time, yes.
And you were studying, did I hear Duke University?
No, Kent State University
Kent State.
down in Asheville.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That can be proven too.
Okay, are you still a student there?
Yes, I am. I opted to do summer stuff classes, but I chose not to. I want a little break in between.
Did you finish the semester?
Yes, I did.
So you took all your final exams and so forth?
Yes,
How many credit hours do you have this past semester?
I believe. And so I took 5 classes, so I don't know how many hours I did. So I think it's 3 credit hours per class. I believe that's 15 credit hours.
How far along are you in your degree?
This is my first semester. The degree I have is business management.
How old are you?
I'm 33.
What are you studying?
Business management, and a bachelor's in business, and I take psych, business management, Microsoft productivity class, a human communications class, and what was my math class? Oh, my math class.
How many children do you have?
3, sir.
What are their
2
ages?
stepchildren and one biological.
What are your children's ages?
My child is Kimberly and her age
No,
is
yeah,
6.
I don't want to know their names, just give me the.
Okay, I'm sorry, my child is 6 years old.
Okay, you have one child, not three?
I have one child and 2 stepchildren. My stepchildren are 11 and 13.
So your child is 6 years old,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you have two stepchildren that
Yeah.
are how old?
11 and 13.
What do you want me to do with you, Mr. Johnson?
It's up to you, Your Honor. I want you to give me a chance to be a father. I really tried hard over these last couple of years to make up for my wrongs and turn my life around. I think that I do deserve a chance again. And though I should have turned myself in a long time ago, I'm here now in front of you regardless. And I'm glad that this is happening now, so it's up to you.
Yeah, it is up to me, but I thought I'd ask you what you think, because honestly, Mr. Johnson, your life's a mess. And you may be going to, look, Mr. Johnson, no offense, and don't take offense to this, but you're lying to me. I don't believe that you've remained sober for the last several months. It's just, you can say and defend yourself all you want. I don't believe that because you tested positive for all these drugs back at the time of the complaints in April of 2023, and it's hard for me to believe that someone just basically became sober without any real treatment. So I'm going to ask the probation officer what he thinks and if there have been any urine drug screens done here recently.
Your Honor, the defendant mentions, he's over a second chance, he's been working, improving his life. He's had over 2 years. It hasn't been a few months, Mr. Johnson. It's been over 2 years to address these allegations. And he's saying he's improving his life is getting better. April of 2023, when he failed for that list of drugs that I mentioned earlier, and just this morning, at 8:54 this morning, on the 30th of May 2025, you're submitted to a urine drug screen. Tested positive for ecstasy, amphetamine, methamphetamine, marijuana,
Buprenorphine.
and heroin. There's been no change, Your Honor.
I was receiving a shot from the Sublocade shot from community counseling, and I was receiving mental health treatment from Signature Health.
So how long have you been receiving the Sublocade shot?
For quite a while now. I don't know exactly how long, but it's been over a year.
Well, that'll explain the buprenorphine. How do you explain the heroin, the methamphetamine, the amphetamine, ecstasy?
I've been told that the meth that they have, I relapsed on that. I told you that I had relapsed.
Okay.
And I've been told that they've been putting everything in the meth. Anything and everything. And I don't use heroin. I can't use heroin with the blocker, the buprenorphine, without going into withdrawal immediately. And not unless it's a very, very small amount, obviously. They're called precipitated withdrawals.
Mr. Johnson, we have a program here. It's known as Renewal Court. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it,
No.
but it's an intensive treatment program where you continue on probation, but you have to basically receive intensive supervision and treatment. If you participate and successfully complete that program, you'll graduate, and hopefully it will assist you in essentially remaining sober for the rest of your life. It will help you, it's an intensive program that will help you basically find stable housing, employment, education. It will offer you stability in your life as a result of long-term sobriety. It takes a lot of work, Mr. Johnson, to be sober, especially somebody using like the drugs that you're using. And, you know, I'm offering that potential program, that program to you as a potential. And I'm wondering if you have any interest in it.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I'm going to recess for a short time. The probation officer is going to come downstairs and he's going to present to you a renewal court application. He'll review with you that application as well as any other questions you have regarding the program. And then we will pick this hearing back up when he returns, okay?
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, the court is back on the record in City of County and State of Ohio versus Preston Johnson, 21 CRB 359, 21 TRD 756. The court, as the time of sentencing, Mr. Johnson inquired of Mr. Johnson whether he might be interested in our specialized docket known as renewal court. Mr. Johnson did indicate he would be. The probation officer, during a brief recess, did present to Mr. Johnson an application for renewal court post-conviction program. And Officer Benoit, did Mr. Johnson sign this?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And, okay, Officer, is there anything else you would like to say before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson, your criminal history is not very good. So this whole application that you just submitted to the court does require the approval of the prosecutor or the county law director, who is not presently in his office, so we were unable to obtain his approval. But you know, outside of this court's convictions in these cases, let's see, more recently you were apparently charged with escape and theft in 2019. I can't tell whether you... Yes, be quiet. I'm not asking any of you to say anything. I just want you to listen, and I'm making a record. You were convicted of felony escape, a third-degree felony, and that was in July of 2018. Must have been out of the county jail. You were convicted of illegal manufacture of drugs, a fourth-degree felony, back in 2014, for which you went to prison. There were warrants that had been issued in the past for your failure to appear for court. This dates back a good 10, 13 years, and charges of drug charges, vandalism. You're convicted of vandalism in 2007, but in 2013, burglary, falsification, drug paraphernalia, convicted of burglary, failure to appear in 2014, drug charges, and so forth. You've got really a horrendous criminal record. So I'm not sure if the prosecutor is going to approve of your application, because he is the gatekeeper when it comes to those who are permitted to enter renewal court. Mr. Johnson, I don't mess around. And I give people chances. I give people second chances. But if you mess with me, I mess with you. And with your criminal history the way it is, and being only 33 years old, I think it's time for you to wake up and to try to take some positive action. I am encouraged, because I'm taking what you're telling me is true with respect to your education at Kent State. So I am encouraged by that as being a positive step that you've taken to try to improve your life. But you need help, and you need a lot of help. This isn't anything that one shot of Sublocade every month is going to do for you, going to change your life. It's not going to change your life. You need to retrain your brain or to train a brain that has never been trained. I don't know your history, I don't know your past, I don't know your upbringing, but I do see that your background dates back to early adulthood, so you must have had a tough childhood. All I'm saying, Mr. Johnson, is you're going to be under my thumb. You are under my thumb. And if you mess with me, you're facing up to 1.5 years in jail. You may not think that's a long time, having been in prison in the past, but I won't hesitate to impose all of it if you mess with me. I'm giving you an opportunity to change your life. And if you don't want to take advantage of that opportunity, so be it. But if you want to take advantage of the opportunity, we will give you all the tools and support you need to make it happen. Are you ready for that?
Ready for that? I'm more than ready for that. I've been ready for that, Your Honor.
Okay, so in 21 CRB 359A, I'm sorry, you do get jail credit, 1-day jail credit in all of these cases, subcases, I should say. So in 21 CRB 359A, I'm going to impose, you have 30 days of jail, 27 days were suspended. So I'm giving you 1-day jail credit, and I'm giving you a 10-day jail sentence on top of that. So that would mean that 6 days would be suspended. I'm ordering you in that case to undergo a comprehensive diagnostic assessment with the Lake Area Recovery Center for possible residential treatment at Turning Point. I'm also ordering you to undergo another assessment at Signature Health and Community Counseling Center, where you are currently a patient of both, for mental health and substance abuse treatment. You're to comply with any and all recommended course of treatment and execute any necessary releases for our probation department to monitor. I also want you to execute releases so that the probation department can obtain your school records at Kent State, and you're to remain drug and alcohol free. All of the standard conditions of probation have been previously ordered. I'm also ordering you to successfully participate in and complete any residential treatment that is recommended, as well as successfully participate in and complete renewal court, this court's specialized docket known as renewal court, if you are deemed eligible, which includes the law director's approval of the application. In subcase D, I will continue to suspend the 90 days of jail on all of the same conditions I've just ordered in subcase A. In subcase E, 90 days jail will continue to remain suspended. All of these sentences run consecutive in addition to each other. So 90 days in subcase E will continue to be suspended with, and again, I'm giving 1-day jail credit in each of these cases. So 89 days will be suspended in each case, and with all of the same conditions I've just mentioned in subcase A. And then in 21 TRD 756, I will give you credit for 1-day jail, so 179 days of jail will remain suspended. Again, consecutive to all other sentences, with all of the same conditions that I've just outlined in subcase A of the 359 case to apply in 756 case. So, Mr. Johnson, over the next 10 days, you're going to be screened and assessed for treatment. And if by chance your assessments and screenings are completed before the 10-day period is completed, and you are recommended for residential treatment and a bed is available before that 10-day period is exhausted, I will allow for the early release directly from jail into residential treatment. You do have a right to appeal. You have a right to appeal without cost. You have a right to have counsel appointed on appeal without cost. You have a right to have a notice of appeal timely filed on your behalf. You also have a right to have documents provided to you necessary to file an appeal. Mr. Johnson, do you have any questions about anything?
No, I don't know.
So I want you to think long and hard while you're incarcerated over the next several days about what you are about to do in the way of treatment, and it's going to be intense. If you do qualify for renewal court, if you don't qualify for renewal court, you're still going to be going through some intense treatment.
Yes.
Part of my probation, but if you're in renewal court, it'll be really intense. So think about your readiness for it, and hopefully in reflecting on it, you will come to the conclusion that you want to change your life for the good for the rest of your life. Okay, anything further, officer?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, this matter is concluded. I thank you.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.